you so much.
Senator Alsobrooks
All
is
right, thank you.
recognized.
Now, I want to circle back to the issue of stablecoin rewards. I think many of us agree that there is a really important role for rewards and incentives to encourage stablecoin adoption. We all agree with that. We support it. We're for that. We want to encourage innovation, and that's why we've been at the table. I've been at the table all along. I think this is a really important process. Our concern is offering a bank-like product, like a bank deposit, without any of the protections or regulations that accompany that product and what that could mean for future deposit flight. First, I want to echo Senator Tillis's comments in requesting an independent analysis on future deposit flight. But in the interim, I think that we have to take these concerns, the concerns of community banks, especially seriously. So we're early in the Genius Act implementation process. And so on that note, Mr. Gould, I appreciated your comments on monitoring deposit flight. But based on your comments, any action that you take to combat possible deposit flight would only be after it has already occurred. Is that correct?
No, that's not correct. If you look in our proposal, which we released yesterday, we have hardwired a number of things into our proposal that we believe would tend to reduce the probability of deposit flight, or should it occur, result in some of those deposits.
No, I'm speaking specifically about the analysis. The analysis that you'd like to conduct would be after the deposit flight had already occurred. That's correct.
No, I was just noting that if deposit flight were to occur, I think we would notice it.
Okay.
Meaning it wouldn't occur under cover of darkness where no one would see it and fail to react to it.
All right. Now, Ms. Bowman, I led several of my colleagues in a letter requesting that the National Economic Council Director, Kevin Hassett, formally retract his suggestion that Federal Reserve staff should be, quote, disciplined for an independent report which concluded that tariffs are harming American businesses and consumers. And so I'm very concerned about the president's advisors interfering in the Fed's work and hiding economic data from the American people. Do you have any reason to dispute the Fed's report concluding that tariff prices increase, the tariff price increases are being passed down to consumers?
Senator, I appreciate the question. I would say that I'm not familiar with the report that you're referring to, but there have been a number of reports that come to different conclusions about many different subjects, including this one. I would also say that I wouldn't comment on the comments of my colleagues or those of the administration.
Okay, so you do not dispute the report, the conclusion. You agree or you disagree?
I'm not
with the
familiar
conclusion?
with that report. I haven't read it.
Okay. Now, I want to ask a question regarding deposit insurance. Mr. Hill, it's good to see you again. And I want to just mention that the last time you were here, we spoke about deposit insurance. And as you know, I'm partnering with Senator Haggerty on bipartisan legislation to raise the deposit insurance cap for business checking accounts in a narrow, targeted manner to boost confidence among businesses and consumers. And as we solicit stakeholder feedback, we want to make sure that this is a data-driven reform that does not raise premium costs across the banking sector. When you spoke, you last testified that a targeted expansion of deposit insurance would likely not increase deposit insurance premiums on small banks, and that any increased premiums on large banks would be small or immaterial. Secretary Best indicated he agreed. And so would you just say whether or not you still agree that that a limited increase is likely not to raise premium costs?
I think what I said last time was it is possible that it would not result in increases. I think there's a few pieces to that to think about. The first piece is if the FDIC did not make any changes to its assessments, an increase in deposit insurance would not have any impact on small banks. It would have a small impact on large banks, just based on the way that the current assessment formulas work. But we would also need to think about the potential impact on the reserve ratio. From just a mechanical standpoint. If you increase the amount of insured deposits in the system based on the way that the reserve ratio is currently defined, that would result in a decrease in the reserve ratio.
But a small impact is what you, is possible, but a small impact. Let me just go, because I have one final thing I'd like to get out. Echoing concerns from my colleagues, I just want to be super clear here. Do any of you and your 4 agencies believe that financial regulators or banks should be given the responsibility of enforcing immigration law? And if you do, can you raise your hand? All right, I'd like the record to reflect that no hands were raised.
Senator, we.
Well, no, actually, that was it. Thank you so much.
Sorry.
I yield.